Hello everyone, welcome back. In this section we're going to go through the appearance and we'll go to customize to start making some customizations to the website's homepage and other pages. And within these elements that we're going to edit, we're going to be able to see that there's a lot of versatility that we can make edits with in Divi. And we'll start by going to where it says General Settings. Now, the site identity is the same as every other, where it says just another WordPress site. I'm going to remove the tagline and just, alright, learn more about our business. And for the images, I'm actually not going to add an image. And I'll go back, and now it says Layout Settings. You can enable a box layout, which adds borders to the sides of our site. Some people like the style. I personally am not a fan of it. I like the full width style to take up the whole screen. You can add sidebar width to the site if you want. I'm going to leave that as is. And the theme accent color here is what we see as a color on the home page here, for example. It's probably the same color as this placeholder, even though we won't really see that many places when the site's actually done. It's this color as well, this blue. So we can change this theme accent color if we'd like to. I actually like it a lot how it is, and I'm going to leave it, but if you want to change it, you just simply click here, and you then will scroll down. This is a little bit of a pain to scroll down on sometimes, but you'll just edit it within here. If you want that color, you'll just click Save and Publish, for example. And if we go over to the site's homepage and we refresh, we should see that the accent color, see right here, is darker. I guess it is still light in the home page elements, and these are now darker as well. To move that back to the default color, we'll just click here, and I'll click Default, and I'll save it and publish. Next, I'll go back, and I'll go into Typography. Now this is interesting because we see this body text right here. We can change the text size just to click of a button. If we want it to be bigger, we can have it 18, 17, 16. You can even edit it right over here, and I'm going to have it as 16. I think that's a good size. Maybe even 17. It's really kind of up to you. I want it to be legible, so I'm just going to leave it as 17. The body line height, you can go up and down, and it's really the space between each line. And it was at 1.7. I'm going to leave it that way. The header text size, the headers are at the top here. We see that we added a header 1 and the R company. Now, you can change that depending on what look you're going for. I'm going to put it as 30 in this case. And header letter spacing, this is spacing between each letter. So you can make it wider all the way to the point where it's excessive. Or you can just leave it at like 1 or 0. One or the other looks good to me. And the line height for the header line height, again, this is the spacing here. So you can also bold them. By default, they can be bold. I actually like doing that because I want my headers to stand out. And they have header fonts. You can change your header font to anything you want within this list. There's a lot of different fonts here, so you can look through. I always like the font bidder, and I'm going to check that one out. And that looks good enough for me. The body font, I always like the font Lato, which is L-A-T-O. And I'm going to add that one. I may actually resize it now that I know that it's going to be that font. I might make the body text 18 instead, and I'll leave it like that for now. You really can just go through and kind of figure out which ones you like, which you don't. This is the body link color, so if there's a link within here, you can make it this. It'll show up as this color. And body text color, this is the text color that we're reading, and the header text color is this up here. So if we wanted to change that, we would simply just click on it here, and then we would go through the process again. I'm just going to save it, and I will then go up to the top and go back to this section. Background, you can choose to stretch a background image across, which I'm going to leave for now. And if you want to change the background color, which is this color we're seeing right here, you can change that as well and make the site a completely different color. You just have to note that some sections that we already have with pre-filled content, with pre-made content, is not going to change. So you literally are only going to change probably this section up here for the background on this page. So only some of the sections will change. I'm going to leave it as is as well, and then click back, and then click back again. Header navigation here. The header format is interesting. You can have a header style as the default, which it is right now up here. And then you can have centered if you want it in the center. You can have centered inline logo with the logo in the middle. And that's our current logo. We'll either change that or get rid of a logo completely. You can have slide in, which is like this, and this is kind of what it will look like on a mobile device. In a way, when we get to a smaller size screen, it will be like this. So we'll slide in here, which is an interesting feature, and you can make it full screen, which didn't really appear to change a whole lot. Let's go from default to full screen, and it still doesn't change much. But that's what happens, I guess, when you click on it. I haven't used that before. So I'm actually going to pass on that. And I'll probably just go with the centered. I like that one a lot. And I'm going to, you can actually enable vertical navigation by clicking this box, and then it will be on the side. If you want your header to be on the side, your menu to be on the side, you can do that. And you can actually even put it on the right side if you really wanted to. And that's not normal though, so I'm not going to do that. And you can hide the navigation until scroll, which is a cool effect. When someone gets here and they start to scroll down, then your navigation pops out. So it doesn't pop out until they start to move. That might confuse some people though, so I like to just leave it like this, as just centered and neither of those boxes checked. But if you want to do it your own way, that's totally fine as well. The primary menu bar, you can hide the logo, which I'm probably going to do for this case. If I wanted to make a logo, I would just go to picmonkey.com and create one, but I'm going to leave it without the logo showing for now. And if I wanted to, I could go down and change the menu height, which I actually will do. And this gives you more area to use within your menu, and that gives you smaller area. Now, logo max height would be if we had a logo, and we don't have one there, so that doesn't affect it. The text size is something that is affected here. So if we want to make these menu items larger, we can do that. And I like to have them big so people can see them right away. I might even go all the way up to 24. And the letter spacing, we can add a space or not. Here, I wouldn't go any more than 1. I'm going to actually leave it as 0. And I'll scroll down to the font for this header, and you can change it if you like. If we try something like that, it'll give it a different look and feel. This is different as well. I'll just leave it on that one just for now, just to have something different. And you can bold it if you like to make it bigger, but I don't think we can actually bold that font style, so it doesn't change anything. We're already at the max size anyway. Now as we scroll down, you can see the text color is here. If we wanted to change the text color of our menu, we could do that. And I'm going to leave it as is. And I'm actually probably going to leave all of these as is. But if you want to change them, just definitely feel free to mess around with it. And you can always just go back to where it says default if you want to change it back. So it's really not that big of a deal. I'll save and publish, and I'll scroll back up, and then I'll go back. Now the secondary menu bar, that's going to be if we have a secondary menu bar, and you can make it full width. You can change the text size also. And since we don't really have this, I'm not even going to worry about it. And I'll go back. Now, fixed navigation settings. You can again hide the logo image, which I'm going to click. And fixed menu height. You can change this and make it bigger or smaller. I don't think this is going to affect our site at all here. So, to go back to the normal height, you just click this. Again, right here. Primary menu background color, and we have it as white. I'm going to leave it as white, and you can change that again if you'd like to. I just will leave them for now because I like the look of it. We'll go back up to the top after it's saved, and now it says header elements, and we can show search icon or not, which is right here. I'm going to take that away. We can show social icons or not, and that will be in the secondary menu bar. So if we want to Now I'm not entirely sure why it's not showing up. It just came up right now for me, this secondary bar here. But if we want to, we can click Show Social Icons. We can add a phone number, and I'll just add one right now. And we can add a email as well. And then once we save and publish, I want to actually go and show you what this looks like on the home page, because it doesn't look quite like I expect it to look like with this logo, with this menu header right here. I thought it would be a little bit bigger. So I might want to make the space in this area a little bit larger so it fits it better. And that's something you should do. You should refresh it on the actual site to see what it looks like every so often. And I will go back to where it says primary menu bar, and then where it says menu height 30, I want to try to make that larger, and I'll click Save here. Now if I go back and I refresh that, hopefully we have a larger area, and yes we do. It is near the top of this area, which is kind of odd looking, but I think it does look better. And I may just play with this and make it a little smaller, make it something like 45, which was in the middle. And then I will refresh it again and see how it looks. And now it's kind of small again, I think. So it's something you have to play around with and see what works for you. And now I just hit 300 by mistake. I'll go back to 55 here and save it and publish. And then when we refresh here, it does look about the same height. So it is smaller, but it's not too bad, I think. It looks better than it did before. So I'm going to actually just go back, and one last time I'm going to refresh it here. And I'm going to lower the text size a little bit to see if that helps. I'll put it to 22. Save it. This is the kind of thing that you're going to have to play around with on your site. And that looks a little bit better to me, so I'm just going to leave it as is for now. Now, when we go back and go back again, we can go see the footer area, and the footer area is down here at the bottom. If you go to layout, you can choose a custom layout if you want just one bar across. If you want a couple, you can do 3. You can do all kinds of things with this. If you save and publish, and then we go back to the home page and refresh it, we can scroll down and it looks the same pretty much, but we're going to be able to edit those elements within the other areas like the widgets as well. You can edit the size of the widgets here. The footer elements, I like to show the social icons. There's no reason not to have them. The footer menu, if you want to edit the size and color of the footer menu here, which would be this, the menu here, then you can do that as well. If you want to remove that, we can go back and remove that as well in the appearance and then the menu section. And the bottom bar is this, and this is the color to it. And if you want to edit that, we can. It has social icon sizes we can edit. You see it getting bigger and smaller. I'm going to put that as 20, and then I will just go up to the top and save this. Now we're going to go back again after that, and buttons. And buttons are interesting because whatever you make your button look like, it will be the same on each page. So it's not really the greatest effect, but it does give you easy ability to make buttons. See, this button is getting larger here. I'm going to put the button as 22. I'll make the border width a little thicker on the button. And the border radius is going to basically round the corners of the button and make it more circular. The more you round it, the more of an oval shape it gets to it. I like to have it somewhere around like 16. So it's kind of oval, kind of not. Maybe I'll do 15 here. And then the letter spacing, if you want to space out the letters for the text within it. The button font size, if you want to make this bold, you can. And you can also add a different type of image. See, this has a arrow pointing that way. When you hover over it, you see this arrow here now. You can change that to be something else if you'd like, but that comes by default, and there's so many different options in here if you want to go through them and pick one out. I'll just change this for now to that and update it. And the icon placement is to the right, which we see here. So when we go back up to the top, we're going to then go back to the section and go back again to hover style here. And this is covers some of the same things, the letter spacing, the border radius, and it shows the color it will be, the background color it will have when you hover over it, which is similar to the color that we already have here. So that is something that we could mess around with the background color. But for now, I'm just going to go back and go back again. Blog, we don't have a blog. Mobile styles, we can edit the style that our site will look like within mobile devices. Now, this is something it's going to do on its own and still look pretty good, so I wouldn't worry tremendously about it. The color schemes are default, but you can change it to custom schemes that they already have, implement it within the theme, green, orange, a pink color, which looks more like purple to me, and a red. And I actually am just going to go with the default because I like blue, it's my favorite color. And then there's menus and widgets down here, as well as static front page. In the menu section, we already have the main menu. The widgets, we're definitely going to get into in the future lectures here. And then the last part down here, it's hard to scroll down with this, is the static front page, and we already changed this as well. So we're just going to save and publish this. You should just go through this and edit the header navigation, the footer, the buttons, the general settings, the typography. Go through that and set it up how you want, so you know you're going to be happy with the look and feel of the site when you're done with it. If you have any questions within this section, definitely feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to get back to you quickly. Thanks, everyone.